my name is Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. In this channel, we talk all things business, edtech, mindset, online teaching, and teaching in general. And you know that I really I'm passionate about online teaching, and especially about having your own having your private students, having private students in general. Simply, even if you work for a school or something, I believe that you should always have some sort of backup plan if things don't work out. And also if you want to just have private students and basically make a bit more money. But yeah, so I have shared actually a bit about this on my Instagram, which, by the way, if you're not following me, then please check the link in the description box. I'm in the description box. I'm gonna leave the link to my Instagram there. Make sure to follow me because I share about my day-to-day life here, teaching English and living in the south of Italy. So if you would like to know more about that, then just follow me there. So recently I lost, I believe, 90% of my private students. And it was not even because of me. And that is what I think that, I don't know, angers me the most. Because, so with this whole thing about, and one of the things that happened basically was all of these sanctions, against certain Russian banks. And many of my students are Russian, or were Russian, because they are no longer my students, but some of my students were Russians, and yeah, basically they cannot pay me. And I've tried for 4 weeks now to open accounts, to open virtual wallets, to open bank accounts in Russia, and I have been unable to do so. I cannot process their payments. So when I was back in Argentina, one of the things that happened to me was, let me put this, let me change this a bit. Okay, so one of the things that happened to me when I was in Argentina was the fact that even when I had my students, I was not able to get the money out simply because my PayPal account got blocked, which is one of the things that it's one of the reasons why I no longer use PayPal, and I still have the money there, even though I can get it. I don't want to take that conversion rate that they are offering me simply because I'm an Argentinian citizen and my government's policies suck, because they do suck. And yeah, so basically I have my money there, and I cannot longer, back then I could no longer charge my students using PayPal. So I made the switch. I opened a bank account in Europe, and then I came here to Italy to live. And yeah, now it's the other way around. Now they cannot pay me simply because their banks are all blocked. So in today's video, I just wanted to share a bit about what happened, what I've been trying, some of the resources that some of the things that I've tried to do, but I was unsuccessful. What I am going to be doing moving forward, and some of the lessons that I learned from this whole thing. Because I am now laughing, but at the same time, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wanted to cry my eyes out. I was seriously super depressed. I was super sad. And everyone is gonna say I don't want to sound disrespectful in the sense of this is just me losing money or losing students and things that I can recover, and I know that the lives of the people who have fought I told myself that I wanted to be as honest and as transparent here, and this is one of the things that has happened to me, and I wanted to just give you my perspective from my point of view, which is because I'm not in Ukraine, I'm not in Russia, so I have no idea what's going on there, but I am trying to share the things that how I am being affected, which I do not want to say that my problems are worse, but yeah, anyways, I just want to share what has happened. So if you want to leave a hate comment, just save it because I'm going to block you anyway. So anyways, so basically what happened was that at the beginning of March, I was like really in a rush in order to like get the money for March. And I was able to do so for 3 of my students before all of their banks got blocked, basically. And I thought that only the accounts that were from the accounts that belong to the people who were involved in this whole thing was going to be blocked. Like no, it was just everyone. It was everyone. So that was on me. I should have like assumed something that was gonna happen because I have no idea. And I had no idea that was gonna happen, but it did happen. So that's basically what happened. Like all of their accounts got blocked. So in March, I was only able to work with 3 of those students, but I still had one of the students who owed me a bit of money. And I was recommended like a virtual wallet. And I tried to open an account there. I did, and actually I did end up opening an account there. But the thing was, I sent all of these bank accounts, like the bank account details, to my students who had owed me money and the students who wanted to continue working with me. And the reality was that they were able to transfer the money, but I wasn't able to access those funds because my account was not like validated because I hadn't like uploaded my documents, which in fact they never asked for them. 1, 2, I had no idea that was supposed to happen, that could happen, like they receiving the money but like the money not impacting on my account. So I contacted customer support and basically they told me that I needed to send papers. This is 2022 and we're sending papers. Like, what? In what world? In this one, apparently. So they told me that I had to send like that I had to like photocopy many things like my passport and many other documents and then notarize them. Like, how the hell am I going to do that here? And then send them and hope that they get to Russia before the 30-day period that my students have, because after 30 days, if after 30 days that money does not get to my account, it is just like they get it back. So basically I was like, okay, I'm screwed. I will not be able to get that money, and that's like money that's lost. And it's not that much. I mean, it is money, okay? I'm not gonna say like it's not much. I am trying, this is just what I say to myself so that I don't feel that bad. But anyway, so it wasn't a lot of money. It was money. It was not a lot of money. But anyways, I was like really like stressed out because I was like, that was not supposed to happen. I was not expecting that to happen, and it did happen. So having like all of these like bank account details, sending them, and then not getting the money because I hadn't like sent documents, and then I was like, I have to send like physical like paper. I was like, okay, no, I'm done. I will not be doing this. Because one thing is like sending them, I have no idea how much money that's gonna cost. And then the reality is like, okay, so if I send them, will I have any sort of will they give me some sort of reassurance in terms of like, yeah, we will receive them, we will like, you will be able to open an account? No. And then I was like seriously thinking about, okay, the money that I'm losing and the money that I'm losing by not getting the money for my students, and the money that I will be losing if I am able to like open the account, like how much money was gonna cost me to send those papers. Like, it makes no sense. Like, it really made no sense. And after that, I was like, okay, so if they are able to deposit the money in their virtual wallet, will I be able to get the money out here in Italy? Because one thing is like, okay, yeah, let's say that I sent those documents, okay? Let's say that my account is verified, let's say that my students are able to send money to that account, will I be able to access those funds here in Italy? No, probably not, because if all of their cards are blocked, that new account with that new card probably is gonna be blocked here. So yeah, the only thing was like, okay, so just like working, and then if in the future I decide to just go to, I don't know, Russia and visit there, then I will be able to access those funds. But at the same time, it's like, what happens if the ruble drops again? Like that's gonna be which ended up happening, because I like most of the money that I had on my PayPal, which was basically frozen. I was only able to access like 2 or 3 days after the ruble dropped, like lost like almost 50% of its value. So this is a different story. But anyways, I lost a lot of money with all of this, and not only that, but I also lost like really great students who had been with me for like months. Yeah, that was one of the things that happened. Then I tried to open another account, and basically they told me that I was able to open an account as a foreigner, but I had to be physically in Russia. And again, it all comes down to, okay, so if I'm able to open an account there, will I be able to use the money abroad, or will I only be able to use the money in Russia? And then it was like, okay, so does this justify me spending money to go to Russia to open an account there so that my students can pay me? I think not. And then the third thing was the fact that, and this is like a big one, because I usually charge my students in rubles. I didn't charge them in euros or dollars, which is like basically like more stable. These three currencies are like more stable, and I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made, because I was basically like, okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna charge you like in rubles, because I mean at that time was like not a big deal. But yeah, after that I charged my students in rubles when I had no idea that the ruble had dropped. So I basically lost money there because I charged them in rubles, and the conversion rate was super it was terrible basically. So yeah, that's another thing. That's like a mistake that I need to learn. First of all, to charge money up front. And with this, like I usually charge money up front, but when it comes to like a student who has always been with me and it's like, okay, just like 1 or 2 lessons, it's fine, then you'll pay me, because they have been with me for like years, okay, and they have always been consistent when it comes to like money, and it was like 1 or 2 was not that like a lot of money. So yeah, that was like a big mistake. I mean, they ended up paying me, but again, I cannot access those funds. So they ended up paying me. I cannot access that money. And another thing was the fact that I was gonna have to not even raise my prices. It was gonna be a raise on their part, but not on my part, because I told them I was going to start charging in US dollars or euros, and that whatever the currency exchange, whatever the exchange rate was going to be like that day, then it was going to be that amount of money, but it was going to be in euros or in dollars. And I was like really straightforward in terms of like, I am not increasing the price of my lessons. This is what I was getting before, but now I am going to be charging in euros, or I'm going to be charging in USD. And I know that there's going to be like a huge increase, because like your currency lost like 50% of its value. So this is going to be I don't know, for example, charging someone like 100 rubles, and then out of nowhere like charging them like 200 rubles. Of course I was not charging that, but just like one example. So I was like really straightforward with them, and I was like, this is gonna like, and every lesson is going to be around this amount of money. And I was like, I'm gonna give you time to really think about it, because I know that this is not something that you may, I mean, something that you might want to discuss with, this is something you might want to discuss with like a partner or something. And yeah, and I also, one of the things that I know is like, okay, so if you're having like so many issues in order to get the money, and then charging a lot because I will be now moving on to like a euro based or USD based price, then is it really worth it for them? Will not, I mean, I was like also really thinking about them not as like my students in terms of I just want to make money, but also in terms of like them being people and them being basically, yeah, like human beings. Like they also have bills to pay, they also have things to do. And I don't know, I was like probably like I thought that it was going to be like easier and cheaper for them if I just recommended someone who was already in Russia, because I know many great teachers who are in Russia right now working, and they may benefit more from I don't know, I thought that they could benefit more from like having someone there in the country and someone who was able to get the money and use the money like daily. So yeah, so that's how I ended up losing at least 50% of my students. Some of them like one or two, it was just they wanted to wait until like the ruble stabilizes, and some others like they told me like that they were not willing to, I mean, they didn't have the resources to pay that amount of money for English lesson. Again, like it's fair. And then some others could not even pay me in terms of like their, like I cannot get their money, like their bank, their credit cards, their debit cards did not work outside of Russia. And yeah, so I lost many of them. And then I'm gonna say like today I lost 3 more, because we have tried for several weeks now to get payments. We've tried for several weeks now to like basically get the money, for me to get the money, but we were unable to do so. And I have reached a point where I no longer want to try. Like I am so fed up with trying to find ways to get money, to get paid. And I'm not saying this like for my students, which I mean, they have been like my students and the parents of my students. Some of my students have been wonderful in terms of I'm super patient with like, try this, try that. I have done this, my credit, they would not like take my credit card. We have tried this doesn't work, and like all of that. And I don't know, like for me at this point, this was not something that I had expected, of course, because I actually wanted to keep my students, keep my private students. I loved working with them. I loved like experimenting with them in terms of like lesson plannings and activities and resources and websites and so on and so forth. But I have reached a point where I no longer want to I don't want to be worried about these things that I cannot control. And to be honest, I do not want to keep contacting customer service in order to check if I will be able to open an account. And at the same time, it's like, okay, probably this is a sign. Like this is a sign from the universe to tell me, okay, so now girl, it's time to move forward. And I have really thought about this in terms of basically the lessons that I learned. First of all, do not get attached. That was a big one. We can talk about that later in a different video, but like, do not get attached. The second one would be choose a stable currency. Do not choose something that can go up and down, go up and down, go up and down. Choosing a stable currency like the USD, like the pound, pounds, or euro. To charge for classes, especially when you have international students. And the third thing would be to always get the money up front. Again, this is something that I always say, but again, I just didn't know that I was not going to be able to get those rubles because of this whole thing. So yeah, these are like the biggest these are like the biggest lessons that I learned, and so I want to share like a bit about what I am planning, like what I want to do moving forwards. Because again, I have already said, like, I no longer want to be talking to a customer service representative. I am tired of trying to find ways of getting the money, and I really think that things should be easy in some sort of way, okay? And I had actually been saying for like 2 or 3 weeks that I wanted to study something, that I wanted to try something new, that I wanted to like get out of my comfort zone, get out of the teaching zone. And I really wanted to like try something new, but I had this thing in my mind that's like, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm not like mentally, like my mental capacity is at its full, or was actually at its full. Because I was like working, I was teaching, I was preparing, I was like, sometimes I would like film videos, I was doing some content creation for some Instagram accounts that I have, and of course my TikTok accounts and YouTube, and I was like really like all over the place, and I had been saying like I want to try something new, I wanted to do this, I want to do that, I want to like enjoy also my experience here in Italy, because that's also something that I noticed, that I have been so worried about getting money, so worried about getting money, and because I thought that, okay, like once I get money, I will be able to do all the things. Once I have money, I will be able to travel. Once I have money, I will be able to blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, it's like, I am getting that money and I'm not doing these things. I'm not traveling because I'm very busy, or I'm tired, or I'm not like, I don't want to spend a dime on whatever. So I think that this is like a sign. It's like, okay, you want this, you really want this, so now you have time. I've lost money though, but now I will have time. However, I had actually been working on getting new students, which is also something that I wanted to discuss. Well, now this has happened to me, but I always think, I've always, I know for a fact that you always have to have like an influx of students, because you never know when things like this are going to happen, or you never know like if you're going to lose your students or not, whatever. So you always have to like have students coming to you. And one of the things that I have been doing is basically establishing a social media presence in order to get students, to get new students, let's say. And so far I have been successful in getting some students to reach out to me, some Argentine students and students from abroad. But yeah, so these are some of the things that I have been doing so far, and I wish I had started sooner, to be honest. I wish I had continued when I started here. When I came here, I was like, I stopped that for like 4 months until I started again in December, and I wish I hadn't stopped. I wish I had continued to at least make the time 1 hour, 2 hours per week to do that. But again, okay, things happen for a reason, and that's what I try to tell myself. That everything that has happened for a reason, and that everything that I'm living is supposed to teach me a lesson. And I think that those are the lessons, and many of the things that I'm going to be doing now onwards, basically like now I should be teaching, or I should be relaxing, or whatever, and I am now here filming this video. So I believe that I will now be in the mental state or in the physical state to basically do things, to the things that I'm passionate about, like creating content, filming stuff, sharing about my life here in Italy. And if this was supposed to happen, then it was supposed to happen, and I cannot wait what life has for me moving forwards. And I hope that you want to be right next to me. Anyways, if you happen to have any questions, or if you like this video or not, then please give this video a thumbs up or comment down below. Make sure to follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.